Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. Yes, there will be a TFR live episode tonight. And right after this live stream, I'm also going to do another quick live stream on my Twitch account. If you want to be a moderator on my Twitch channel, meet me over there right after this live stream. Because I've been using Twitch when I'm out on the street. And the problem is there's no moderator, so the trolls love to just get in there and spam and destroy the chat. But we will fix that problem. So we'll do that right after this stream. But anyway, the big news today, the death of Bernie Madoff, the man who made off with everyone's money. And going to talk more about that. There's another billionaire dead in the news. W. Galen Weston, dead at 80. Going to show you how these stories are related. And then we have Officer Kim Potter charged in the killing of Dante Wright today, and the other new details that Dante Wright's teacher was George Floyd's girlfriend. But if you've read my book, you know all about the George Floyd killing and the Jesuit order and the number 46. And notice from the George Floyd killing to the Dante Wright killing was exactly 46 weeks on the nose, and the person responsible is Kim Potter, 46, and George Floyd was 46, and it was an order out of chaos ritual, and it was George Floyd from the land of 46, Houston, Texas. All this stuff is contrived crap and ritual. And again, the question is, how long will this video stay up on YouTube? Because remember, they took down almost every single video I made on George Floyd even before they took down the channel. And people who didn't get to see those videos, well, they lost out because we talked about everything, how George Floyd would be synced up with the sports season. In one of those live streams, we talked about why the Bucs would probably beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, but the Vikings would be an interesting team to see what they do with them. They ended up doing some major George Floyd rituals with the Vikings last year, but we covered it all then. But again, they don't want this information we're about to put out there to be out there. If you've read my book, you know all about Derek Chauvin in 58, and of course his defense started on the 58 date numerology. We'll get to all this, but all of this stuff that's playing out right now is just contrived crap, which everyone should see, but when you learn gematria, you just see just how contrived it is, just how made up it is, and you know who's responsible, and how they're doing it, and why. And again, George Floyd's girlfriend's Dante Wright's teacher. Joe Biden to announce the full withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan on September 11th, or by September 11th, so on the 20-year anniversary. And if you've read my book, again, if you've read my book, it's all covered in here. You know, huge chapter on the George Floyd killing and how the George Floyd killing ties in with the pandemic and the rituals and who's behind it and 9/11. And now here on the day of the 9/11 withdrawal announcement, we got George Floyd 2.0 headlines with Dante Wright, whose teacher was George Floyd's girlfriend. I mean, all of this stuff is such a joke. It's just ridiculous. And don't forget, at first they were saying 8 minutes and 46 seconds on the George Floyd knee on the neck killing, just like the first plane hit the towers on 9/11 at 8:46. But also in the headlines, Kamala and her husband finally able to move into the VP residence. It's been being renovated supposedly, and then conveniently they end up in there on April 6th, when it's the 46th presidential administration with 1,046 rituals, which is what allowed us to call the Biden presidency many months in advance, way before the election. And we have another dead celebrity in the news, 30-year-old Garen Taylor of the Baldwin Hills reality show. Or, yeah, it is a reality show on BET. I can't say that I'm familiar with this person or that I've ever watched this show, but I see right away the number patterns. And we're going to talk about how Bernie Madoff died the day after the judge's 67th birthday that sentenced to him to 150 years in prison. Again, these same numbers just always showing up in all these rituals. You also have the Big Brother star dead in the UK on 10/4 when Big Brother's 104. And we'll revisit some things we talked about quickly yesterday. And right before I got on, I saw somebody said, can I look into the death of Adam Perkins in the news? If we have time, we'll get to that as well. And then again, we're going to go over to the Twitch channel, and I'm going to assign some moderators. But let's start off right here with Bernie Madoff. So he was serving a 150-year sentence, which they remind you of. And there's probably something a lot bigger to 82. I have some theories. I'm going to do some more research on why he died at 82, but here's what I understand very clearly right now. Bernie Madoff. Madoff with everyone's money in the U.S., right? And the U.S. dollar bill denominations are the 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. And when you add them up, it equals 188. And all over the dollar bills is Illuminati symbolism. And when you write out Bavarian Illuminati, it's 188. Like Bernard Lawrence Madoff, his full name is 188. And again, the Bavarian Illuminati was established May 1st, 1776 by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. It was known as the Illuminati. Hold on. Oh, shoot. I need some water, but I don't have any. 1 second. I've been using my voice a lot lately. Okay. It's known as the Illuminati for short, which is 150. When you run the alphabetic order in reverse, he was on a 150-year sentence. Notice if you just do his first and last name, Bernard Madoff, instead of Bernie Madoff, it's 244 in reverse. And remember, the Bavarian Illuminati was established May 1st, 1776, the day leaving 244 days left in the year. 244, like his name. And again, doing things forwards and backwards. For the first 3 years, we wouldn't have saw the reverse. We wouldn't have understood it. But once we realized the reverse was part of it, we said, look at how it fits in so perfectly with everything. So the thing about 244 is he's died while the United States of America is 244 years old. Of course, established 7/4/1776, and also while the Bavarian Illuminati is 244 years old because it was established May 1st, 1776. It'll turn 245 on May 1st. So he's died days before the anniversary of the Bavarian Illuminati, their anniversary of the establishment. And Adam Weishaupt, whose name equals 51, with the alphabetic order and rules numerology like 5-1, like conspiracy, the day he established it, or Adam Weishaupt, who did establish it, he was Jesuit educated. He was of the Jesuit order. Notice how Jesuit order is 144 and 54. Bavaria is 54 forwards and backwards with the rules numerology. Again, we always talk about the same 4 ciphers, always. There's a base system. I teach it in both books that I wrote. It's the alphabetic order forwards and backwards with the rules numerology. And keep in mind that today is the 104th day of the year. The Jesuits served the Roman Catholic Church 104. 7/4/1776 had 104 numerology. Again, it's not hard to see who's controlled our history from the beginning to the end. Notice Madoff was sentenced March 12th, 2009. That was the 71st day of the year, Catholic 71. Remember, we're on a calendar that comes from the Catholic Church, and the English language is credited to the Catholic Church, which means we're living in their world. And the United States of America is their nation. So are most nations of the world. The Catholic Church has dominated the world. The Holy Roman Empire lives on in us and the other nations that are a part of this cabal. And notice the judgment, this biblical concept, Catholics, church, religion. Judge Denny Chin is who sentenced him to 150 years. And his name is 71 in the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. And his birthday was yesterday. And notice he was born in 54. Remember, he was born in 54. Jesuit order, Bavaria 54. Keep in mind he's Asian with this huge Asian theme, just like how we assumed that an Asian would win the Masters this year before it began. And we zeroed in on Matsuyama in a big way after day one. And we already saw Matsuyama had a good shot before the tournament began. I said I'd put $1 on him because that'll pay $40. But after day one, it was like, well, I'd put a lot more than $1 on him. He looks pretty damn good. He ended up winning the whole thing because it's all ritual. An Asian had to win the Masters in Georgia, right after the Asian racism focus starts with shootings in Georgia. This is how it's all synced up by, yes, the ones that are referred to as the Illuminati. And it's not hard to see why the whole Da Vinci Code series came out right around the time of 9/11. It's not hard to see it all in hindsight. It's such mockery. Again, the Da Vinci Code focused on the Illuminati in the Catholic Church. Again, the Jesuits served the Catholic Church. The Bavarian Illuminati established by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt. But anyway, coming back to Bernie Madoff, he's dead right after the judge's 67th birthday, which was the day before. And knows blood sacrifice and human sacrifice is 67. Again, R.I.P. to Garen Taylor, who had the wrong name gematria. And his name, Denny Chin, if you drop the judge, has the same gematria as Freemason, forwards or backwards, 96, 147. Again, modern Freemasonry was created by the Jesuit order in the city of London, the capital district of London, June 24th, 1717. So the Jesuits and the Masons, it's all related. And of course, Washington, D.C., this nation's federal HQ, the Jesuits have been there longer than the feds. And the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry has been there for almost as long. Again, it's not hard to see who runs the show. So notice from Bernie's last birthday to his death was his 351st day of his age. The Jesuit motto for the greater glory of God is 351. That's the 26th triangular number. If you add 1 through 26, it equals 351. Words like God, dollar, bank, they all equal 26. In God we trust on the money. A money man. Sentenced to 150 years, Illuminati. You know, the money with the Illuminati Masonic symbolism all over it. And again, if you look into the history of the Bavarian Illuminati, Adam Weishaupt, who was a Jesuit, he wanted to take further control over Freemasonry. He wanted to infiltrate and have greater control and influence over it. Which is interesting because it's like, okay, the Jesuits created it in 1717, 59 years later, he's establishing this thing as part of the Jesuit network. And with regards to the other billionaire who's dead in the news, W. Galen Weston, notice he's dead at 80. The media is up to its typical tricks, emphasizing retail visionary, which equals 80. You see? Just like Bavarian Illuminati. It's 188 with the alphabetic order. It's 80 with the alphabetic order in rules numerology. Keep in mind the word Baphomet is 80 with the alphabetic order. Satan is 80 with the reverse alphabetic order. The Baphomet, the symbol for the Satanic Church. And this man, he died, well, his news of his death was on the 13th. Think about this nation, going back to that dollar bill, 13 layers of bricks, 13 stripes on the flag. It began with 13 U.S. colonies, 13 years of slave school, K to 12. And, you know, you can listen to people like me, or you can turn into Quora, or however you pronounce it, Quora, whatever this website is, and you can read crap like this from Jonathan Truman. He writes, people keep saying that 13 families rule everything because conspiracy theories are a lot more fun than taking responsibility for our own cock-ups. The Illuminati are not real, of course. They were wiped out in the late 18th century by the Elector of Bavaria and were in any case only a rather more political and less mystical offshoot of the Freemasons. Okay, so you can take it from Jonathan Truman, you know, that per the history books, they just vanished and they didn't exist anymore. And the world's been completely free of all conspiracy since the 18th century. Take it from Jonathan Truman. Or you can look at what's plainly in front of your face every single day that can easily be deciphered when you know the simple language they speak in. And again, some genius will always come here and say, well, if it's so simple, how come you figured it out? Well, simpleton, because I'm a lot smarter than you are. To make it real short. Okay? And the better question is, how come nobody else figured it out before me? Okay. Now, from his birthday, October 29th, to his death, April 12th, was his 166th day of his age. And notice, his name equals 166, the way he writes it, W. Galen Weston, not the way I manipulate it, the way he manipulates it himself, just like Secret Society. And I want you to also notice what's in his name, the way he writes it. 158 like Freemasonry, 58 also like Freemasonry. Notice how Secret Society's got the 58 and the reshuffling of the 158, the 185. Okay, he's got the 166 like his name as well. Now the stores they had were the Selfridges, which is also 166, also 58. Notice the 50 in it as well, because that's like Jesuits, the plural, like America's 50, like Washington's 50. like DMX at age 50 and the big Jesuit ritual. But you see how Primark, their other store, is 103? What day did this news break? April 13th, the 103rd day of the year. Also like Jesuits. Jesuits, Masons, Illuminati, it's all related. Again, remember, Illuminati comes from illuminated, which means in the light. And we're on this whole calendar that's sun-based, sun, the light. The Catholic Church fixated on the sun. They worship on Sunday. Stuff's really transparent when you finally see it. And, and don't forget the Jesuits were credited in history on August 15th, 15/8, like 158, like secrets or like Freemasonry, which they created June 24th, 1717. So again, 2 billionaires, both go out by the numbers if they've really gone out, unless this is how they exit from the world stage and, their days is known as being as this is over. And I won't speculate on all that because I don't know. But what I do know is how all this crap is reported by this code and why they do it this way. Again, Kabbalah is where this whole code of letters and numbers comes from. And in Kabbalah's Book of Formation, it's stated on the opening page, God created the world with numbers, letters, and words. So this is how they play God day after day. Now, Officer Kim Potter, just everything that they do, man, is just such mockery. The 331 behinders, the 67th prime, police officers 67, killers 67, blood sacrifices 67, 67's the 19th prime, chaos 19, Floyd 19. If you've read my book, I talk about the numbers that they clearly showed in the media on the police cars in the George Floyd killing. Why he was taken out of a ML 320 and killed in front of police cruiser 320 after he was arrested by police cruiser 830, like 830, where Murder's 83 and the song Murder by Numbers by the Police came out in 83. Murder's also 38, like Minnesota. He was killed on 38th Street in the corner of Chicago, and now they got the new guy with the picture of his child with the face blurred out and a Chicago cap. Again, all this stuff, you guys, is just all ritual, but look at this. Look at this. Again, just like I said in my book, it's the Jesuits behind all of this. It's 14/4. We're getting these Wapara headlines, Jesuit Order 144. And from the George Floyd killing, Memorial Day, May 25th, 2020, to the Dante Wright killing, April 11th, span of 322 days, which is 46 weeks. And notice how Kim Potter, the killing officer, is 46. The Latin for Order Out of Chaos is 46. George Floyd, 46 years old, from Houston, Texas, 46. Chaos, 46. Riot, 46. Again, the Catholic Church gave us the calendar, the language, 46. We're in the time now of Joe Biden, number 46. The second Catholic president, because the first JFK was assassinated at 46. And again, it was exactly 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday with Biden. And, of course, Beau Biden died by the numbers at age 46, and there's so much more to it. But like we said last year when George Floyd died, we said it was more confirmation the Lakers would win the finals, which we were on from a year and a half before that. We knew exactly what was going to happen that season when LeBron signed with the Lakers. Again, the Lakers originally from Minneapolis. Day one of the George Floyd killing, the nightly news kept showing the woman in the purple Lakers jacket with the Justice for George Floyd sign, which equaled 322, like the NBA Finals. Now you get this 322 days later. In the Brooklyn Center killing in Minneapolis, the day after the Lakers play Brooklyn, who are originally from Minneapolis, and the day before the Brooklyn and Nets game, the Nets and Minnesota game, Brooklyn Nets versus Minneapolis, and they had to cancel that game because of the protesting going on. Again, all this stuff is just such obvious mockery, and that's what I've been telling you guys for years and proving with books, blog posts, videos, predictions by the tens of thousands, literally. And, I just don't know what to do about humanity, how brain dead they are. It's just like, man, these people are vegetables. But, the mockery just gets more thick each year, and the fact that people still keep falling into this, like every police department in the world's probably on their best behavior ever right now. You don't think the one that's in Minneapolis in the time of the Derek Chauvin trial, you don't think they're going to be more on their game? Come on, you guys. This stuff is such a joke. But anyway, with regards to it all being connected to the NBA, what's LeBron's record in the finals right now? Oh, that's right, it's 4-6, right before the 46th president. Don't forget who spelled all this out to you before any of it happened. How LeBron would be coming 4-6, you know, before Joe Biden became number 46. Again, we talked about all this before it happened. Words like executioner, also 46. George Floyd supposedly killed by the Park Police, 46. There's even more to the list, but again, 46 weeks apart. George Floyd, 46. It just couldn't be a bigger joke. And then look at what else is in the Kim Potter name. 127, right? Number has all sorts of meaning. Bavarian Illuminati's got the 127 connection. Again, 127's the 31st prime, 31's the 11th prime, Black's 11. The latest killing on the 11th. 127, that's like Pearl Harbor Day. That's like the buildings that fell in New York on 9/11. Buildings 1, 2, and 7. On April 11th, we had a huge Pearl Harbor ritual with the Masters, with the first Japanese player winning it. Again, if you missed the work we did on that, you can go back and check that out on Gematria Effect Sports. But I'll just remind you, in the most simple cipher, here, just can't get any more simple than this right here. One cipher to make the point. The Masters ended April 11th, 11/4, like 114, Matsuyama 114, World War 114, Pearl Harbor 114. He won it 45 days after his birthday, which is like the year World War II ended with the bombing of Japan. On August 6th, Hiroshima, that's the date that Matsuyama had last won a tournament, August 6, 2017. By the way, Green Jacket's also 45 in the most pure cipher. Again, that's the one you really want to find in sports when the connection's there. So Matsuyama won the Green Jacket 45 days after his birthday for the Masters. But the point I'm making is the same day this shooting happened is the same day that the Masters ritual went down, where 1, 2, and 7 mattered in that as well. The point is, these people use numbers and ritualistic patterns because they have meaning. It's like they're part of a recipe. And again, with regards to 9/11, don't forget they called the site where those buildings fell Ground Zero afterwards, which is another 127. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry also has that one. Oh, I forgot the of. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry also has that 127. Again, these numbers are not arbitrary. 127, the 31st prime, 31, the 11th prime, 11, the master number. These people are numerologists. You know, the Masons didn't put 33 pillars, each 33 feet tall outside, you know, their HQ in D.C. arbitrarily. 9/11 didn't happen on the 11th date on the 11th day of the month in the 11th state, New York, with the big buildings that look like 11s, with Flight AA-11 by accident, 11 years to the day of George H.W. Bush talking about a new world order while his son was the president during 9/11. She's got the 116 in her name as well, which connects to execution. So does 46. 53 can connect to shooting. Kim's got the 33, like masonry, like secrecy, like order, like federal, like police, like race war, like how they just, on March 3rd, 3/3, the anniversary of the beating of Rodney King, they did the police bill in tribute to George Floyd. Remember, the rioting started last year for George Floyd on East 33rd Street. Her name's got the 21 like Jesuit, the 15 like war. Her name's got the 94 and 68 like terror, the 32 like Negro, the 31, the 11th prime. Again, just these same repetitive numbers. Remember how big 94 and 68 are to the World Trade Centers. 1968, construction began. 911 made the national emergency dialing code. They opened on the 94th day of the year, April 4th, 73. Terror's 94 and 68. And again, if you think this is all disconnected, it's because you're an idiot. They made it very clear it was all connected. They kept telling you 8:46 with George Floyd, which is the time the first plane hit on 9/11. Then they set his pre-murder trial to begin on September 11th. Now on the day, all this heightened hysteria with the latest George Floyd 2.0 killing on the same day, that Biden says we're going to bring home the troops on 9/11. On this same day, we're hearing that George Floyd had the same teacher as Dante, right? Okay, I'm going to bring all this together. I'm going to bring it all together in a moment. There's a bigger thing here. Oh, by the way, the George Floyd police reform law of March 3rd, 2021. That was the 30-year anniversary of the beating of Rodney King. Police is 33 forwards, 30 in reverse. Reminds of Kobe Bryant dying on the 26th on the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant. Again, that's why you got to know your ciphers, forwards and backwards. Again, coincidence theorists can't get their way out of this one. Kobe died at age 41 on his 157th day of his age, and there's a million more things to that too. I have a huge chapter in this book on Kobe's death, how it all comes together, how it all fits. Kobe buried in Corona del Mar right before the coronavirus outbreak. Then you got Black Lives Matter, I can't breathe, while coronavirus attacks the lungs, and they tell you on the 155th day of 2020 that George Floyd's autopsy, he tested positive for coronavirus. Again, all this stuff is such a joke, you guys. It's such a joke. And you know what else? I just realized something just talking in real time. Go back and look this up. It's all facts. It was June 3rd, 2020 that they came out and said George Floyd had coronavirus. That was the same day the Great Reset was announced by Klaus Schwab, the Jesuit at the World Economic Forum. And George Floyd's from Houston. For anyone who was following, we had before the start of the year, we had an early date set for their Great Reset blackout ritual. And we said it would either be January 15th or Valentine's Day. And it ended up being Valentine's Day. And which city got hit the hardest in the Great Reset ritual? Houston, the energy capital, while J.J. Watt wanted out of town, and then he went to Phoenix, the solar capital, because the Great Reset's about moving from fossil fuels to renewable energy, like Houston's the refining city, and Phoenix is the solar city. And again, all this stuff is straight mockery. But I realize that just right now, just talking out loud. George Floyd autopsy with the coronavirus, June 3rd. Great Reset announced June 3rd. And it's the Great Reset. The Great Reset 151. Power outage 151. Valentine's Day 151. And that's why we said January 15th or Valentine's Day, because those were the days early in 21 that had the 151 connection. 151's the 36th prime. The Great Reset was announced on 3/6, June 3rd. So and again, look at the overlap with the Great Reset and Valentine's Day. Am I blocking anything? I'm not. 3 out of the 4 ciphers in George Floyd's city. Again, all of this stuff comes from the Jesuits. That's how it's so streamlined. That's how it's so perfect, because they're writing the scripts. They have their whole little potion they have right now. Put people in a really bad spot. Agitate them. Put them in fear. Divide them. Put them in the most stressful situation they've been in their lifetimes. They're just trying to watch the pot boil over. They got plans to depopulate, get rid of a lot of people. They're just setting the stage, man. They're just setting the stage. Wait until they really reset and turn out the power everywhere. It's coming. They'll blame it on North Korea or something. North Korea hacked our power grid, I'm sure. And the man in the cave did 9/11, and the killer germs were worth shutting down the world over. Right. You got to be a real dummy. Also, today has a 59 date numerology. Killing of a black man. They got to, come with the hard headlines on the 59 date, just like George Floyd died 59 days before the mayor's birthday. He was 38 at the time, the mayor. Minnesota, 38. Death, 38. Murder, killing. Hold on. Let me just put it up here. Let me just put it up here real quick. The movie poster, Murder by Numbers, the E to the 3, the B to the 8. Murder, killing, death, R.I.P., Gematria, English, Kabbalah, they're all 38. Again, the song Gematria, the killing name, the first member of that band to die, died at age 38. Look up The Police, Murder by Numbers, which came out in 83, where killing's the sport of the elite. It's as simple as ABC 1, 2, 3. George Floyd arrested by a police cruiser, 830. Okay, so anyway, Derek Chauvin. Here, let me just go to my book real quick. Do you have my book? This one right here. I'm going to look up the ebook version real quick. I'm going to see where I talked about Derek Chauvin in 58 in the book. I know all this stuff's in there. I just want to see what page it's on. Page 39. You only have to make it to page 39. The book's nearly 400 pages. It's on page 39. Just in the middle of a sentence, by a man named Derek Chauvin, summing to 58 with Pythagorean as well. Not by chance, the name GE.N alone sums to 33 in Pythagorean, the same as police and the same as race war. Wow, aren't I talking about the same things right now? Because it's always the same things. And there's a whole bigger spiel on 58 and what it's all about. And again, my first book. Here's my first book. Chapter 2 has a very huge part on 58 in this book, what 58 is all about. But anyway, 58 date numerology, defense 58. Derek Chauvin's defense begins on the 58 date numerology. Derek Chauvin, Freemasonry, Rosicrucians, Secret Society, Fraternal Lezen, Fraternal Order of Police, which equals 119, like George Floyd, like September 11th. The George Floyd murder pretrial began September 11, 2020. There's also a date with 38 numerology, Minnesota 38, killed on 38th Street. We just talked about the significance of 38. He's defending the killing. And it was also the 103rd day of the year, Jesuits 103. And again, also today in the headlines, a tragic connection. George Floyd's girlfriend once taught Dante Wright in high school. And why? Because it's more 33. 33 is the master teacher number in numerology. Teachers 33 like race war, like federal, like police, like masonry, like secrecy, like order. So we have Kim, the killer. Kim is 33. K is the 11th letter. I is the 9th. M is the 13th. Easy to add up, 33. And then GE.N is 33. And the rioting started on East 33rd Street. And on March 3rd, the new police reform bill named after George Floyd, only for there to be a similar type of incident during his trial in the city where it happened. I mean, come on, man. Again, synced up with the NBA season. I mean, come on. You got to be a special kind of stupid. And then my nephew was 20 years old. 20 years old. I guarantee you that was the scripted line right there. 2020, just like George Floyd died in 2020, and in Gematria, death equals 20. Again, the most pure cipher. They're all important, but the most pure is the blue one. Okay. So Joe Biden, he announces this today 150 days before September 11th. And notice I had this post up last night, right? This is before the news of Bernie Madoff dead with his 150-year sentence. But notice it ends up on the same day, right? And Bernie Madoff's New York, too, and Wall Street, and 9/11 had a lot to do with Wall Street as well. It's like a million birds with one stone. But again, today's 14/4, 150. I mean, this is exactly what I wrote last night, before I even had the chance to make the Bernie Madoff post, you guys. Bernie Madoff post is obviously today. This post that I'm looking at right here was published yesterday, April 13th, last night, right? And what did I write? On Wednesday, April 14th, 2021, Jesuit Joe Biden is announcing plans to withdraw troops from Afghanistan by September 11th, 2021, the 20-year anniversary of the false flag committed against the U.S. Of course, April 14th can be written 14/4 like 144, the number of the Jesuit order. And as we know, the Jesuits are behind the 9/11 attack. Also, from April 14th to September 11th is 150 days later, Illuminati 150. The Illuminati was created by the Jesuit Adam Weishaupt, May 1st, 1776. And notice the mention of May 1st in the paragraph below. See, they said they were supposed to be all the way out by May 1st, which was the deadline Trump set. You see how this works? And again, in case you got here late, let's just go over Bernie one more time. Bernie Madoff was born Bernard Lawrence Madoff, 188 like the Bavarian Illuminati, which connects with the U.S. dollar bill denominations adding up to 188. He was the money man. He was sentenced to 150 years in prison. He died while the United States of America and the Bavarian Illuminati is 244 years old, and his name Bernard Madoff is 244. And the Bavarian Illuminati was established on the day leaving 244 days in the year. And what, you think this is a coincidence today? I mean, again, if you think everything that I show every day is a coincidence, you're a special kind of stupid, because I show the same patterns every single day. And the only problem at this point is that you are the problem. You are too dumb to see what is undeniable, indisputable. You could never debunk it, truth. Period. Here's how it works. If a guy writes 2 books, and after he writes those books, they become truer and truer and truer and truer and truer every single day after, which mine have, that means it's correct information. It's not hard to figure this stuff out. The problem is just too many people really are the walking dead that have no brains. You know, it's just like when I was on the corner the other day and the guy was screaming out, "These people have no brains, nothing." Exactly. There's a guy who gets it. Okay, and then just, I mean, we already said, you know, we've already done a million things with Biden and his presidency in 46, and now there's been the story about how Kamala and her husband can't move into the VP headquarters because it's being renovated and it keeps taking too long, but then they can finally move in on April 6th, 4/6. I mean, how stupid, right? It's just so stupid. It's just all bullshit. It just shows you how ritualistic everything is. They just have to report everything by the numbers. This is these people's Achilles heel, that this shit was figured out, because it just exposes them. And again, I'm embarrassed for humanity that I was why was this not figured out until 2013 when I figured it out? Why wasn't it figured out until 2013? I'm embarrassed. I should have figured it out sooner. I knew something was up with the numbers. It took me way too long to figure out what it was. But I don't know how people don't notice. Just the number rituals every day. You don't even need gematria. They're just sticking numbers in front of your face, the same ones every day. So I'm guessing already this year, we probably got to be near somewhere at least 50 examples of celebrity deaths, premature, age, and the 67 connection. I mean, how many more do we need? And this goes on thousands that have already been shown over the years. But Garen Taylor, 67. Blood sacrifice, 67. She's dead at age 30 for unknown reasons. And what's the other number that always goes with 67? Yes, it's 86, right? It's 86. So guess what? Well, her birthday, first of all, can be written 6/7, July 6th, but she died 86 days before her birthday. Can you believe that? I mean, I can, because we're showing the same damn patterns every single day. Blood sacrifice, human sacrifice, 67 forwards, 86 in reverse. Baldwin Hills, the show she's on, 73, like ritual sacrifice, like sacrifice. The news was saved for the next day, the 102nd day of the year. 102 and 30 are coded in not nice ways in black history, as we've talked about many times. Slavery and the N-word got that connection. She died on a date with 56 numerology. Again, Black Lives Matters 56, Society of Jesus 56. And who knows how these psychopaths work? You know, this is the same day that kid was, I keep using that word, that same day that child was killed in Minnesota. By the way, Meg had a thought about me correcting myself on kids. She said, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Okay, so what? It means little goats. We still know, we just use kids as another affectionate word towards children. And it is true. I mean, what meaning you give words is really what matters. But at the same time, there is a vibration behind words. And, you know, there was a gentleman the other day who I filmed. He had his trailer, and it was all painted. It said, painted by my kids. I mean, that wasn't supposed to be a dig on his children. It's just, it is part of language, but I think child is the better word. Children's the better word. But man, it's just, you know. And this point about 67 and the fact that she died the day of the shooting, again, right here. Car 331, the 67th prime. Killer 67, blood sacrifice 67. Again, 67 is the 19th prime, chaos 19. My throat going dry again. Okay, April 10th, 10/4. Big Brother 104. Big Brother contestant dead at age 38. Do I even need to say any more? Dead for unknown reasons. Trying to make it seem like she was too skinny. She died because she was too skinny at age 38 on 10/4. But again, death, murder, killing, RIP 38. I mean, I don't know enough about this show. I saw her name had the 62 and 73 in it, like sacrifice. Saw her birthday was the 118th day of the year. Again, she had some fateful numbers. Death is 38 with the alphabetic order, 118 with Jewish gematria, which is based on the old Latin order of the letters. But she had a book called Dying to Be Thin, and she might have died for that bestseller. Because a lot of these people are selling their souls for the fame and the fortune. And again, just yesterday, Johnson & Johnson vaccine put on pause because it was causing blood clots, 46 days from being approved. I'll say no more. And again, just this latest shooting in Knoxville, Tennessee, 256, like assault weapons ban, like Second Amendment. The name of the school, 139, like gun control. And again, we keep talking about how the last time there was major gun control, It was in 1994, Joe Biden's year of his crime bill, the 322nd bill of the year, 322, but it was on September 13th, 13/9 like gun control, on the 256th day of the year. And also the day leaving 109 days late, remaining like shootings 109. But just so many examples of the exact same patterns. And again, you just got to be brain dead to not get it. So I'm out there just making sure I want to come up with the right assessment. Is humanity completely brain dead? The good news is not completely, but maybe 99%. Somewhere between 95% and 99% of people are close to brain dead. I think some of them can be brought back to life, but I think a lot of them are truly gone. So my guess is you could probably get it to a point where like 20% of people were alive and functioning, where we are right now. And this Adam Perkins reported dead today. Vine star, I believe Vine's music website. His viral Welcome to Chili's video died Sunday. Died on a Sunday, the big old Jesuit day. That was April 11th. You know, the thing I've taught about April 11th in the past is this. Here, I'll just do a reminder. I years ago, I said, I think this day is connected to assassinations. And the reason why is right there. With the alphabetic order and the alphabetic order with the rules numerology. Or, excuse me, with the alphabetic order in Jewish gematria. You know, I was just saying how death is 38 and 118. The woman died at 38 and her birthday was the 118th day of the year. But assassin is 101 and 411. April 11th is the 101st day of the year, right? And it can be written 411. And that's the day that Dante Wright was supposedly killed. But, so he died on that day. He was 24. The son is 24. He died on Sunday, 24 hours in a day. He has a twin. This is why the whole George Floyd thing's going on. Remember, George Floyd was killed in Gemini at the time of the twins. Patrick Perkins' his twin announced the news late Tuesday night. So that was yesterday, April 13th, which was a date with 38 numerology. He did not disclose the cause of death. He said, I can't even really put into words what this loss means for me. I'm often asked the question, what's it like to be a twin? And my response is usually, what's it not like? What's it like to not be a twin? He continued, being a twin is a very central part of my identity. It's all I've known, and I'm struggling to find the words to explain what it will be like for me to live in this world without him, my best friend. Okay. And then, it says Sunday 4/11 right there. Well, I don't know if his birthday is going to be out there. It's hard to do a decode on somebody if you don't really know about them. Or Welcome to Chili's. Is a song about the restaurant Chili's? Here, let me just see what's in the gematria of his song. It's got the 72 like Jesuit order. It's got the 171, the 18th triangular number, like sun is 18, and IHS, the Jesuit acronym's 18, because he died on a Sunday. And again, I've never done research on Vine, but I'm just going to make the assumption it's probably controlled by the Jesuits. They control most of big tech. They control most things in this world. But, yeah, I'll let you guys do this one, because I don't know who he is. And all I know is that date. There's a lot of suspicious deaths in history. He's got the 69 in his name, like the Jesuit order. Perkins actually has fateful name gematria. It's got 38 and 97 like death, but I mean, there's plenty of people. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to decode more. I'll see if his birthday's here real quick. Adam Perkins' birthday. Is this him? Is this him? This says he's 25 years old, so I don't know if this is correct. Vine personality. Well, they got his death date at April 11th, 2020. Oh, I guess they changed his birth year. March 17th, 97. Well, if that's his correct birthday, that means he died 25 days after his birthday, right? Check this out. You see how death is 38, 97, 25? 97's the 25th prime number. Again, read the book. You'll see how often all these numbers come together in so many rituals with death. But again, his name Perkins got that 38 and 97, and he died 25 days after his birthday. So, by the way, I recommended to use KeepVid to download videos. It still works, but now it puts up all these like pop-up junk things when you use it. So I'm gonna have to find something else. Anytime I download a video on there, I start getting this pop-up junk stuff. It annoys me. He's a Pisces. But yeah, he died 25 days after his birthday. So that definitely stands out. You could also say he died on his 26th day of his age. Either way would be fair. 26th day of his age or 25 days after his birthday. The difference is you're not counting the date of the birth. You're either saying he died 25 days after the birthday, or you're counting the day of the birth and you're saying he died on his 26th day of his age. That matters because his name is Adam, which is 26. And remember, God is 26, and mankind's made in the 6th verse. Or excuse me, mankind's made on the 6th day in the 26th verse of the Bible. When you're out 6th, it's 26. Remember, Nick Saban won his 6th championship on a touchdown reception by number 6 that gave him 26 points in the game. So, yeah, there's probably a lot more to it. Did I look at his song gematria? Welcome to Chill. Oh, yeah, I had the Jesuit thing going. But yeah, 25 days after the birthday looks like what it is. And check the gematria on Vine. Vine's got some interesting numbers. So, yeah, the first time I probably talked about April 11th and it being a day connected to killing was probably like in 2014 or 15. Long time ago. And number of celebrity deaths, the Dante Wright thing. So I think we'll leave it there for now with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over on Twitch TV. It's going to be a short live stream because I want to get out and pound some pavement. I got to do the radio show tonight, so I got to get out early. And by the way, I'm gonna lift up my hat and show you how ridiculous my face looks right now. Sweet lady is very annoyed with my appearance. She says, "You have never looked so ugly. You look so ridiculous." And she's right. Look at this. Look at this tan line, you guys. It's from being out pounding pavement. But yesterday I got it bad. But look at this. Look at this tan line up here. I've never had a tan line on my head like this in my life. Oh, man. It's because I normally don't wear a hat. But anyway, sweet lady is very unhappy with my appearance right now. She is like, "You are so ugly, Hubbard." I said, "Well, it'll go back. It'll go back to normal." So anyway, I got to get back out there anyway. But what I'm going to do is get onto twitch.tv. If you come to twitch.tv, just search Gematria. When you start to type it in, it comes right up. Gematria Effect News. The live video will be going. And I got to make some moderators. So if you want to be a moderator, come over here. I'm going to start this up literally within minutes of ending this stream. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.